Hello. Today I wanted to share a few tips and tricks about how to relax. Some of these tips work for me. A lot of them you've probably heard of before, but hopefully a few of the examples I give will be something new to you or just simply refresh your mind as to what you can do to help yourself relax. Modern life is so stressful, work and personal life and dealing with bills and worries and everything like that can just mean that we find it difficult to wind down, even if we do take the time out to do that at all, which a lot of people don't. But it's very important that we do take that time to chill and relax and have some time for ourselves to just calm down. Tip 1 is watching TV and films. Obvious, right? A lot of people find that watching television and films, especially at the end of the day, is a really good way to relax and wind down, especially before bedtime. A couple of things that I like to watch when I really want to chill is stuff like Studio Ghibli films, my favourite being Howl's Moving Castle. I find they're very sort of relaxing to watch, if a little confusing and surreal. I also really enjoy, at the moment, a programme on Netflix called Queer Eye, which is a really, really positive sort of makeover show from America that just really talks about the fundamentals of accepting yourself and accepting each other from whatever walk of life or background or sexuality or what have you. And you watch it and you end up feeling so positive yourself and wanting to make all these changes to your own life. But then when it stops, you don't feel like making the changes anymore. And another really good programme for relaxing is the Great British Bake Off, which is obviously a show just about baking. And if you haven't seen at least one episode yet, where on earth have you been for the past few years? It's a wonderful, wonderful programme, such nice chill out, and a little bit of drama when the bakes don't go right, but overall it's just a really feel good and nice British programme. Tip 2 is listen to music. Another obvious one, right? So this can obviously be listening to your own music or perhaps listening to something like classical. I find classical music quite relaxing sometimes, especially as something just to have on in the background when you're doing other things. You can actually download a classic FM app, which is really good because you can then play it from your mobile or your other devices like iPads or what have you, if you don't have like a TV or a laptop nearby, which is really good just to have on, as I say, in the background while you're doing other stuff, and it can really just help you have a little bit of a chill because the whole sort of radio station is very, very chill. Tip 3 is actually reading. I promise you they're not all going to be this obvious, but reading again is something that a lot of people do to wind themselves down, especially again before bed. But you might want to use it as a time just to get away from your own thoughts, which I think is also a really helpful thing, especially if you're worrying about a lot of stuff. I have a recommendation here which is called The Little Book of Mindfulness, 10 minutes a day to less stress, more peace, by Dr. Patricia Collard. And here's what the cover looks like. On the inside, there's little kind of chunks of information, little tips and even exercises that you can do that really just help you practice mindfulness and relaxation. For example, there's one here which shows you how to do a standing starfish, and it says stuff like this pose gives you the feeling of being centered with energy and confidence radiating from the navel region and spine into your arms and fingertips. So yeah, there's different sort of little chunks so if you're not like a big reader, you can still have something to flick through, especially when you're feeling really, really having a hard time sort of relaxing, and it will really give you some good practical tips. So yeah, I definitely recommend this book. I will leave a link in the description for that. Also, any kind of reading is going to help you. Anything that you enjoy and can sort of transport you to another world is going to be good for when you want to just get out of your own head and get out of your own situation that's causing you any sort of anxiety or nervousness. The next tip would be take some time out to pamper yourself. I actually have another thing here. This is a sheet face mask, and I use these quite a lot. I actually like a lot of Korean cosmetics because Korean skincare is where it's at, and they know everything about having beautiful skin. Obviously I don't, but I do like to dabble a little bit when I want to relax. This is a Pureness 100 Red Ginseng Mask Sheet Shine from TONYMOLY. And TONYMOLY are a really, really well-known cosmetic brand in South Korea. There's also Etude House, which are very good. And they have just a few different things that you can do, like face masks and sort of different moisturizers and things like that. And it just gives you an excuse to sort of sit there for half an hour and have a breather. And if you are a man watching this, don't you dare say that you can't do stuff like this. I think that's a load of rubbish, because men can take care of themselves and have a pampering session as well. Do not let the fact that you're a man stop you from doing things like face masks and manicures, pedicures, whatever you want to do. Of course, you could also go out and get these things done professionally, but if you're like me and do more things at home, stuff like this is really good. You can buy these on eBay and Amazon for really good prices as well. Again, I will leave some links down in the description of ones that I've used. The next tip would be writing your feelings down. So this could be either in a journal that you use daily, or just as a thing that you do every now and again when you have a lot going on in your head. For me, I have a book that I keep hidden away that I bring out when I'm having a really tough time with my mental health. And I just write down everything. It's like a complete verbal vomit, I suppose, of everything that's going on in my head. It doesn't really make sense, it doesn't have to, but I'm getting it out of myself and onto paper, and I find that can be really helpful sometimes. I also have lists of things that I want to remember just to get things out of my head, so I don't have to worry about them and play it over and over again like a broken record. So you don't have to do it like a dear diary, and today I did this. You can just have something for every now and again that you just pick up and write in, and just have a real sort of splurge of all your thoughts and feelings, what's worrying you, what's annoying you. One big tip I would say though is, if you've got some prying eyes in your life in the form of family members or roommates, it's very good to have a good hiding place for that, or maybe a little lockable journal for all that, just because you probably want to keep it private. And it's quite embarrassing, I think, if, you know, we've all had the experience of, if you've got siblings especially, of them sticking their noses where it's not really wanted, and some of your own internal thoughts and feelings that you don't want them to know being revealed to them. Next tip is crafting or baking. Now, I do a bit of baking when I have some spare time. I'm not particularly good at it, but I do it. There's also different types of crafts that you can do, and I just find that things like that, where you can again just get out of your own head and just do something and have something at the end of it that you've made out of that effort, is really, really good. I have a really good friend called Charlotte. She does cross stitching, and that's what she uses to help get herself out of her own mind and relax. So she can just sit on the sofa and do that while she's watching TV or what have you. There's loads of other things you can do. Adult colouring books, which were huge a couple of years ago, still really good to use. You know, get a colouring book, get some pencils. It doesn't even have to be an adult colouring book. Again, it's just something to sort of chill you out. And again, you will have something at the end of it that you can say, yeah, this is what I've done today, you know, which is always a good thing. Next tip is going outside, walking. Now, I don't really do this one enough because it's exercise and I don't like exercise, but it's very good for you just to get outside sometimes. Obviously not in the middle of the night or anything like that, but when you're just feeling a bit anxious and het up, it's good to just move yourself outside, either to the back garden that you have or your front garden, or even do what I do and go run some errands. So, you know, pop up the shops and get some things together, and just take a slow walk back, you know, just trying to get yourself out of your home or where you are is really a good tool to have when you can to use when you can just physically remove yourself out of that space, and it can really give your head time to clear. You know, when you're walking, you can just notice nature and things like that, things around you, rather than being stuck in one place and stuck in one place in your head, you know, both physically and mentally. And a lot of people find that the physical act of exercise and walking does help an awful lot. Yoga. Now, yoga is really, really good. It's, again, something I don't do near enough of, but it's so good because it's also concentrating on not just stretching yourself and improving your flexibility physically. It's also looking at mentally and de-stressing, and it's very much about breathing and the importance of feeling very sort of centered in that one. You can find a lot of yoga sort of tutorials and exercise routines online on YouTube. You can also obviously buy DVDs if you've got a local yoga class nearby that you can go to. It's just a really good time to actually de-stress and also get a bit of exercise and stretching as you go, which again I need more of. Next is breathing exercises. Again, this is something you can probably find a lot of online. There's also a few apps that you can use, meditation apps like Headspace or Calm. There's even a breathing exercise thing on my Android phone, which actually just has a little circle, and the circle fills up and you inhale, and then it goes round again and you exhale, and it sort of is 5 seconds each. And if you just take a few moments to do that breathing and just concentrate on that, it can really help you calm yourself down and just feel a bit more like present and in the room, as opposed to, you know, frittering about and feeling like you're just overwhelmed. It sounds a bit stupid at the time just sitting there breathing, but it really can help, and I'm sure you've heard of it before when it comes to dealing with stuff like anxiety and nervousness. It's definitely worth a go. There's also, lastly, a lot of things on YouTube, a lot of videos where you can find rain sounds or white noise sounds or whale sounds, and these are really good just to listen to, maybe with some headphones on, to just give yourself, again, another chance to breathe and keep things going very softly, you know. So anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you found it helpful. Have a look at the description if you want to know any sort of details about any of the recommendations I've made in this video. And thank you so much for watching.